Why, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, as always, my friends. And we're going to do a Lotro Life blog today. Alright, so a couple of you guys, I mentioned talk about the program. I am trying to just get a little healthier this time, right? I'm trying to, lose a little bit of weight, be healthy, right? Again, this video is I want to make this an encouraging video. So this is going to be a little bit about the program I've used to help me. There's lots of different programs out there that work great. And again, take everything with a grain of salt. Salt is good for you sometimes, just not too much. Slight little side joke there. But take it with a little grain of salt. When I tell you I'm not a professional, this is my own opinions. This is my own experiences of how I lost a lot of weight. And I lost 70 pounds. I gained back a slight bit of that in the last couple weeks, so I'm going to be healthy again and lose it back and get back to my good weight. But again, I'm still much lighter than I used to be like 5 years ago. So I'm going to tell you how I did that. I'm going to tell you things I learned along the way, things that I didn't really realize I knew wrong, right? There's a lot of misconceptions about weight loss that we have in our minds that we're thinking, oh, well, this is how we lose weight. And it's not really quite correct. So I learned a lot. My aunt is a coach for Optavia. Again, we're going to basically talk about my experiences and what I've learned with healthy. So if you're someone who doesn't want to be using a program, you just want to try to, eat better, lose some weight yourself, exercise, I'm going to tell you the ways to do it natural by yourself as well. And then I'll also talk about that program a little bit and what the goals of that program is. It has some similarities to other healthy programs like keto and other ones that work really well too. But I'll tell you the differences and stuff in that in a little bit. But let's talk about just my experiences and a couple things that I learned along the way. All right, when it comes to health stuff. And again, I appreciate the guys. If you don't really care about this, you just want to hear my Lord of the Rings content, this is just a blog video. You're welcome to go watch that. I got tons of videos on the playlist of Lord of the Rings content. But this is for you that really, thought that you'd like to hear that. Here's Zolin's opinion on this. So, and I have the experience, right? So first thing, let me just get into it. First thing is you have to know your body type, right? I have a very slow metabolism. I very easily hold on to muscle mass as well as fat, right? Which is a blessing because some of my friends get jealous. They're like, how do you keep all that muscle on? Because they're little, twigs practically. No offense to my friends who made these comments. But it's like, I don't know. I don't really work out very much. I just keep muscle on, which is a nice thing. But on the flip side of that coin, right? Everybody is different, right? We're all special. I gain fat very quickly, right? If I'm not exercising and if I'm overeating or increasing what I'm eating, that kind of thing. All right. So now you're like, so Zollin, how did you lose the weight? Well, I used the program Optavia. I had used lots of other programs. This one really helped me because this one isn't really necessarily a diet. It is more of a health program. It was designed by a doctor to be a health program, and then they made it into a business and with who started it and things. And some people don't like the whole top-down thing with stuff like that. I haven't had really a problem with that. They weren't annoying about it or stuff, but I'm sure other people have had different experiences, of course, with programs. But I'm not going to go into that right now. The main thing that worked for me is the fact that it taught me how to eat. All right, guys. So here's a thing that a lot of people don't realize, right off the bat. A lot of people think losing weight is, you eat a big meal in one day and then you're like, oh man, I just ate so many calories, so many carbs, I'm not going to eat. I won't eat the rest of the day. I'll just have a snack tonight in 7 hours, that kind of thing. That's like the exact opposite of what you do if you're worried about something like that, guys. So we need to talk about how does the body work? How does the body want to lose fat, right? Okay, so this is kind of like scientific, all right? So this is going to go into more of a scientific of how our bodies react, right? I'm going to talk like how our bodies think, but obviously it's all chemical, right? It's not, they're not thinking. We're thinking, but our bodies are automatically just doing it, right? Just the way nature, we just work like that. So when it comes to weight loss, the biggest thing that we do wrong, especially in our cultures, that eat a lot, is that we only eat 3 meals a day. That's number one. That's wrong. Reason being, this is why. The body has a blood sugar up and down, right? And this is what's really, really important. The blood sugar drops, okay, at after 3 hours. This is the big one, okay? So you want to be trying to eat at least a snack every 2.5 to 3 hours. This is the hugest thing I could tell all of you. If you don't want to use a program, nothing, anything, the biggest thing is eliminate a lot of your sugars. Not all of them. You need some sugars. Eliminate a bunch of your sugars, because we drink sodas and all this stuff. It's so bad for you guys. Like, again, I'm someone who drinks a lot of unsweetened tea. I really like that. But there's so many other options you could drink stuff. Just try to eliminate sodas. If you're someone that drinks 3 or 4 sodas a day, cans, look at how many grams of sugar are on there. You really, realistically, I would tell you, you should have less than this, but you should at least be keeping under 50 grams of sugar a day. Probably less, but a lot of us will drink or have 150 grams of sugar in one day. You know, you drink a Red Bull, you drink an energy thing, you have a coffee that has sugar in it, you have a donut, you have this, you have that. If you add those up, how much sugar right there? Anyway, I'm not trying to guilt you guys. This is a positive, uplifting video, okay? That's the goal of this. We all do it. I've done it. We enjoy it. We like to eat. Again, we have habits. We want to just eat. So there's a lot of tricks I'm going to talk about how to get around that, okay? How to help your mind think in a better way so that you can get your body in a better way of eating and thinking, and your body will start working with you. It just takes a little bit of practice. It's just hard at first. So anyway, let's go back to the food thing, blood sugar. So after 3 hours, your body goes into a dive. If you haven't eaten for 3 hours, what happens is, let's say you ate a massive meal at lunch, right? You had a meal that had 1,500 calories, again, and lots of carbs, lots of sugars. And again, a lot of times your body won't really tell you if you haven't been practicing, if you always take a long time to eat. And then you wait, let's say you don't eat for 5 hours, right? You eat at, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you have dinner at 6, let's say 6 hours later. What just happened? Well, around 3 o'clock, okay, 3 hours after you ate, your body goes into this dive. And what happens is your body goes, oh no, we have no food, right? This is what how it thinks, right? It's like, we need food right now. Well, we still have all the stuff in our stomach that we're processing, and now that we know we're not getting any food 3 hours later, let's store it. We'll store it in case of emergency. So all that sugar, all that carbs you just ate will start being stored as fat, right? That's how your body works. And it's like, you're like, oh no, that's why a lot of people think, oh, well, I just won't eat later. That's bad. So if you had a little snack of, let's say, a little bit of meat or some kind of snack that's healthy, right? Something at 3 hours later, what your body would be doing then, this is how you should be thinking, is that when you have that snack 3 hours later, even if it's a little small snack with just some meat, your body goes, oh, I'm getting everything I need every 3 hours. My blood sugar didn't drop. Well, I guess we don't need this extra stuff. We won't put it on as fat. Oh, and in fact, why don't we start removing this extra fat, because we really don't seem like we need it. We're getting our food every 3 hours, like whoever, our host, us, right? Our own body. It's like, oh, we're getting food every 3 hours. We don't need all this extra fat. Let's start removing it, right? And that's the goal of the whole idea, right? You're trying to get into this state where your body will start burning fat by itself. Now, there's other things you have to do besides that every 3 hours that will help you and make you start losing weight. Also, drinking lots more water helps. But now you also need to bring down your sugars, bring down your carbs, bring down your calories. And this is the things you always hear in on all these diet programs, right? Even the good ones, even like keto and all these other ones. They're like, oh, bring these things down. It's like, well, but you got to think of the other things with it. That won't be enough, you guys. That won't be enough to just be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to, I'll lower my carbs and I'll lower my sugars. Well, if you aren't also eating every 3 hours, your body will not go into a weight loss thing. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's just, I won't eat like anything, and you're starving yourself, and then you're losing weight. The problem with that kind of weight loss, if you starve yourself to lose weight, is that what happens is your body will also, it doesn't maintain your muscle mass, so you start losing muscle, not just fat. And that's not what you want. With this way of thinking, with how Optavia does it, or how a lot of these other programs do it, every 3 hours, you end up not losing your muscle mass. And I'm telling you, I did not lose my muscle mass when I lost at 70 pounds. It was awesome. It felt like I had this big weight off me, and yet I still had the exact same amount of strength, because with the Optavia, it helps you realize you need to eat this much protein still, you need to eat these vegetables for roughage still, you need to still do all these things. And then they have they have their bars and stuff that you can get with the Optavia program to have the right vitamins and all this stuff. So you don't, when you start doing a diet like this and eliminating things in your diet to gain stuff, you do need to think about taking your vitamins still. You need to give enough water still. You need to have roughage still, right? You're going to start having stomach problems. So there's a lot of things you have to think about when you're starting to rebalance your diet. And it's really hard for the first week because your body kind of goes in this whoa. And after the first 3 or 4 days of not having these sugars and carbs, you're going to really suddenly crave them. It's really like an addiction, right? Our bodies get addicted to sugar, right? We have so much of it all the time that we start getting tired and headaches and all this stuff. That's also a thing with caffeine, right? A lot of people who drink a lot of caffeine. I don't drink almost any caffeine, but a lot of people who drink caffeine, when they go off it and they're not drinking it as much, they start getting headaches and they're like, oh, my head, It's because your body is used to having that all the time, that charge, massive thing. It doesn't need it, by the way. We just get used to it. We get addicted, right? So that takes a few days, and then once you're past that, you'll stop getting the headaches. You'll stop doing that, right? But you have to be balancing. You still have to have some sugars, which again, why the Optavia was very helpful for me is that they gave me these pre-done bars where I could eat 5 of those in the day and make 1 meal that was meat and vegetables. It was very simple for me because I didn't have to do all this extra work. Now, if you're someone who doesn't want to be, buying that, you want to do your own food and stuff, it's a little more work, right? Like keto. Keto is a little bit more work in that way just because you have to think about it. You're like, I have to buy these meals, have these set up, that. But it's really good. And once you get in the habit of doing something like that on any of the programs, or even doing it without any program, if you're just trying to do it yourself. Again, I highly recommend if you're going to try to do it yourself without any program, you're probably not going to lose as fast as other times. Again, I lost those 70 pounds over like 8 months. So I did it in quite a small amount of time, mind you. So it definitely worked. And once I got going on it, it was very easy for me to do it, right? But if you're doing it yourself, you want to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. You want to drink lots of water. You want to make sure you're still having your vitamins. You're going to need to make sure you still eat a lot of protein. And you want to eat lean protein, meaning you don't want to eat things like, I wouldn't do fast food hamburgers all the time unless you know somewhere that they don't just fry it in a bunch of oil, right? Steak is not bad. Hamburger meat is not bad. Just, it's probably better if you cook it yourself at home because you won't add all this massive amounts of oil in it, like a vegetable oil, which really isn't very good for you. It has a lot of natural fats and stuff, right? But also if you cook your meat to be more lean, that helps, right? But a lot of fish. The only kind of fish that isn't really great, it's very healthy for you, mind you. It's very healthy. But salmon has high fat. So if you're trying to lose weight, it's kind of probably not the best one to have a lot. A little bit here and there is not a problem. So if you're doing a diet with that, salmon's still very healthy for you. It's got lots of good things. Sometimes you need those fats. Sometimes you'll still need to eat some of those fats because you'll notice, your fingernails, your hair's not doing as good. So you don't want to cut out too many fats, but eating too many fats will also cause you to keep on fat, right? Because it's very high and stuff. So those are all things to think about, but turkeys, chicken, all these things, really lean meats, those are really, really good to be eating a lot of. Again, lots of other kinds of fish are all good. There's a lot of good stuff. So anyway, we're not going to go through a full list of that. If you ever want a full list of that or something, leave a comment. I could always make one for you guys. But realistically, I would highly recommend you just go and look this stuff up yourself as well, right? You can just take my advice as a grain of salt. But again, if you're happy, and be happy with your body. That's one thing too, guys. I have to, as a positive, uplifting video, you need to be happy with your own body. You need to realize that everybody else realizes that we all struggle with certain times in our life with either being a little overweight or underweight or this or that, or a skin thing. People need to realize that. Don't listen to that one person that was in your school with you that made a comment about you, right? Ignore them because they're jerks. And they probably have problems too, and they probably put it off on you, right, with a mean comment. So just don't let those things sink in your mind, even from years back, right? It's been years since I've been in high school. But you just have to be careful with those things, right? Don't let people, I've tried really hard now that I'm older, I've really learned, don't let people manipulate your mind like that. You do it for your own sake. So if you want to lose weight for your own sake, to be healthier, to feel like you can move around a little bit better, again, that's one of the reasons why I realized I had gained back some weight the last 4 months, and I was like, oh, I'm not feeling as good as I did. I'm going to really lose that weight, right? And again, you don't have to think like you're never going to be able to eat yummy food again, guys, okay? So you don't think like that. Don't think, oh, I'm never going to be able to eat anything yummy again. No. Give yourself a goal. Say, I'm going to work for the next 4 months. I'm going to cut out all these things that are bad for me. I'm going to attempt to lose this much weight. You know what I mean? Make a goal. Get there. Get to that goal. And then at that point, don't go crazy. Don't get it all back in 1 week. Have the yummy things again, but have them in moderation. That's the big thing, moderation, you guys. We are so blessed in our countries, at least here in the West, and lots of countries around the world, actually, that are really very blessed with massive amounts of food. It's very easy for us to become glutton, right, with our food, right? To go overboard, to just eat like crazy because, you know, it's yummy. And when you eat more, what happens? Your stomach expands, right? Then you want more food, and then it expands more, and then you want more food, and you get hungrier and hungrier, and it's like this vicious cycle, which also is a positive thing the other way back. When you start eating smaller amounts, and you start doing a program or eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, you'll notice that you're not like drastically hungry. You're just a little hungry, and then you eat your snack, and that fills you up, and you feel great, and you move on with your day. And again, your energy levels will be so much higher if you're eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, and you're eating protein and vegetables, and you're not just eating a bunch of sugar, right? Because remember, eating sugar will just make you crash, okay? Sugar gives you a little boost. Sometimes it's good to have a little sugar. If you're exhausted, you just need a little bit of sugar, right? Hence why Red Bull or any of these power drinks have a lot of caffeine with sugar, because the sugar gives you the first for an hour or two, but then after that 2.5 hour mark, you're going to start diving, right? Your blood sugar is going to dive, and the caffeine helps to sustain it a little bit longer. That's why they put a lot of caffeine in there too, because it usually lasts a little bit longer than that. But no matter what, after about 3 hours, you're going to start feeling exhausted again after if that's all you had was an energy drink. So I highly recommend protein, guys. If you can have protein. If you're someone that doesn't eat meat, if I understand, some people can't, some people choose not to. There's lots of other options that you can have that still have protein. I'm pretty sure tofu still could help with the protein, and of course beans and stuff. But now remember, beans not great for diet loss unless you're doing something in moderation. Depends on the kind of bean, but like regular like black beans or something, very, very high carbs. They got protein in there too, naturally as a plant protein, but they're very high in carbs. So eating beans and rice all the time, that's not going to help you lose weight. So rice is a big scary no-no to stay away from if you're trying to lose weight. It's not bad for you necessarily. It's a wonderful blessing. It keeps many people around the world from being hungry, right? Rice is a blessing. It's delicious. I love rice. In fact, the biggest thing I missed when I was doing my massive diet, and I'm doing it again right now during this video. I just started 3 days ago. The biggest thing I missed is probably rice. I missed it more than candy or ice cream. And like once I got off the sugar, I didn't really crave sugar anymore after about a week. I didn't really want it. I craved meats. I craved good things. I craved sashimi, right? Fish. Like I really love sushi, right? Sushi's a great one, right? As long as you're not eating all the rice in the rolls, you just get sashimi. That is perfect. That's great for a diet, right? Make sure you get it from somewhere, you know, they're good at it though, because you could get sick from sashimi if people don't do it right. So make sure you go to a place that is well respected and does the fish right. Little side note. But so these are all things to think about, my friends. Let me see if there's anything else I want to go over with you guys right now. So let's just do a quick over thing on the Optavia. Let's talk about Optavia for a minute here and the main goals of the health program. Okay, so I'm going to flip up the page here. All right, there it is. All right, so this is their site. I will link it down there for you guys, of course, in the video. This is Optavia. So I'm going to tell you some pros and cons over the years, okay? So some cons I noticed, and they have been fixing some of these, is that their site was just dreadfully slow with ordering stuff in the past. It is much better now. They've updated it and things like that. I definitely think that you need to learn what foods you like when you first order. They do highly recommend that you have a coach. And yes, there is a type of down-tiered system with how they sell things, kind of like a lot of these food companies do, or makeup, or all those kind of things. But honestly, I will give a shout out to Optavia that they were better at it than most. Like, they were nicer. They weren't as pushy and annoying, if that makes sense, right? Because no one likes pushy when you're trying to do a diet or something. You're like, no, I'm trying to do it for my health. I don't want to be pushing anything, right? So that's the goal. So it is a really good, so you can like, you can see their foods. Here's their product stuff. So I'll just show you a little bit right here. I'll tell you some of my favorite ones if you are curious about getting Optavia. So the best ones, I love the chocolate things, like the chocolate mint bars and stuff. Again, they're very, very healthy, and they have a lot of really good stuff in them. So here's, like, for example, these, right? These are one of my favorites, right? The chocolate cookie crisp mint ones, right? And then they give you some nutrition facts. So actually, you look at these again. So if you look, I know this is really, really tiny. Let's blow that up for you a little bit. Okay, here we go. There we go. And there we can see these numbers here. So again, if you realize it is a lot lower calorie. Okay, so if you have, let's say you're gonna eat, so there's the 5-in-1 program, okay, with Optavia. So that means 5 of their little things, right? Their little, whatever it be, like other little bread thing you make, a little pudding, a bar, a shake, that kind of stuff. Okay, those are the different things. So they're about 100-ish calories each, around there. If you look right here with this bar, so it still has sugar. See the sugar? You still need to have sugar for your blood sugar, guys. You can't just 100% cut out sugar. Now, you're going to cut out a lot of your sugar. You're going to cut out like 90% of your sugar if you're really trying to stick to the 5-in-1 program. So basically, the goals will be is you have 5 of these a day, every 2.5 to 3 hours. You don't want to do it too close because you want to let yourself actually lose weight. Because if you eat, it's hard, because if you eat past 3 hours, your body will put on fat, it won't lose weight, and it'll go into hibernation mode because it's like, I don't want to lose any weight. If you eat too soon, it won't lose any weight at all because you're just giving it constant amounts of food, right? So there is a fine balance there between that 2.5 hour and 3 hour mark. So then it has carbohydrates too. You have to have your carbs. You still need these things. Just when we eat, for example, if you eat a thing of pasta or something, whatever you want to, one bowl of pasta is going to have like 50, 60 carbs, right? Just one bowl, like one small bowl of pasta. All right. So again, you're still going to need it, but we eat way too many carbs in our daily activities, right? Then if you look at the vitamins here, vitamin D, iron, vitamin A, you can see 50%, 35, 20%. The ones that you can't have too much of, you notice, they're all 20%. That is the reason for that, is because they're expecting you to eat 5 of these in one day, right? These are daily numbers, right? Right here. So you get, basically by the end of your day, you've gotten all your vitamins. So if you're doing the Optavia program, you're not going to have to be really probably buying your normal daily vitamins, because you can see the Optavia has them in there. And it doesn't make it taste gross. I was always like, is that going to taste nasty? No, it actually is really good. My cousin really also liked the chocolate shakes, which are very, very good. You do need to know how to sometimes prepare them, but they're very easy to prepare versus other programs that make you do lots and lots of cooking or lots and lots of stuff. Again, the bars are my favorite because I can just open it and eat it, right? Now, the marshmallow, there's a s'mores bar. I like to heat in the microwave for 30 seconds because it's amazing. But anyway, this is yummy. It really helps me because these things are so delicious that it's not really very hard for me to like stay on the program, right? Again, I'm not being sponsored at all. This is me just telling you because this program really helps me and I want to share it with you guys, but this might not be right for you, okay? So again, the biggest thing is, and I'm not trying to guilt anyone to like, oh, you need to lose weight. You guys be happy with your body, whatever you think. If you're someone that if you've needed encouragement though, and you felt like you needed to lose some weight for your health, or you just want to eat healthier. Maybe you don't need to lose weight. Maybe you just want to eat healthier. I really like the Optavia. I thought it was a really good program. It really helped me. Or you could do it yourself. Just remember one thing for blood sugar, a big one. A lot of people don't realize this unless they have diabetes or something that they really need to balance their blood sugars. Again, like we've been talking about, 2.5 to 3 hours. You really need to eat before that 3 hour mark. If you do not eat before that 3 hour mark, if you wait till 3 hours and 20 minutes, your blood sugar will dive and you will feel exhausted and you will not feel good, blah, blah, blah. It's fun at a certain point when you start doing this program of eating, because your body, when you're eating less like this, and you're also, you'll suddenly realize that your mind will, without even alarm, I have a little alarm on my phone that's great. It reminds me every time to eat. But, in fact, I can tell you what let me tell you what that is real quick. But once you get to a certain point, your body will start reminding you by itself. At like 2.5 hours, you'll start getting hungry. You're like, oh, and then you look and you'll notice, oh, yeah, it's time to eat. And then you eat, and then so on. There's a little app, it's free, it's called Eat Wise. Eat Wise. There, you see it right there? That's the top of the name up there, and it kind of keeps track, and then you could just tap whenever you eat. I like the app because a lot of times when you time it 2.5 hours, you could also use a stopwatch timer on your phone. That seems like a lot more work. This one's nice because you can say tap, I ate, at 2 hours and 42 minutes, right? And then it moves the next, wherever you put the time. I put mine at like 2 hours and 45 minutes for each one. Anyway, little side note, but it's a very helpful little app if you're someone that wants to use it for free. That's free to download, not Optavia, if you want to use it to do this stuff, right, with the food. Even if you're not going to use Optavia, just if you want to track your eating every 2.5 hours. Great app for that, okay? There's also some things, your snacks you can have. They still let you have certain things. There's a whole information thing. I'm not going to go over the entire program because I don't want to make this video an hour, and you guys don't probably have the patience for a video that long. I just want to tell you about that I do find it was very good. Here's the programs, Optavia Weight. There's a 5-in-1 program, 4-in-2, 3-in-3. So the 3-in-3 is more of a maintenance program, and the 4-in-2. What that means is, the 5-in-1 means you'll eat 5 of their bars or whatever in the day or whatever you're using, and you'll make one meal. It's called a lean and green meal, which will be vegetables and meats, okay, that you'll eat. And you have to weigh it. And surprisingly enough, it's a lot of meat, you guys. So one thing that a lot of people don't realize is the fact that we usually don't eat enough meat. We think like, oh, I had a hamburger. Well, actually, you really need to have more meat in that day. So the lean and green, they make you weigh a certain amount. I think, is it 8 ounces of greens or meat? I can't think about it off the top of my head. Again, their whole page has this. I have a link down there. You can learn about it. But again, you could do that even without using Optavia. Again, I'm not pushing Optavia. I'm pushing being healthy and being positive about it and doing it in a positive aspect. Don't think about weight loss as a negative thing. Think of it as a lifestyle, right? You're like, I want to eat better, and I'm also going to lose some weight so I feel better, right? You don't need to go crazy. You don't need to lose 100 pounds. I mean, unless you want to do that, go for it. But, lose enough where you feel healthy. I need to lose 10 pounds. I'll eat better, that kind of thing. Believe me, you guys, once you start eating better, you will feel so much better. I was so astonished how much better I started feeling when I was eating good, and I wasn't as tired all the time. I wasn't constantly like, ugh, I need to eat something. I was like, I ate, and I was like, oh, I feel great. And then I was good. And then I just eat every 2.5, 3 hours, have a snack, have one of the bars. Then I'd have my meal in the day. I'd plan to, go out to lunch, and then I would make sure I go somewhere that can have just meat and just vegetables. They wouldn't tempt me to do other things like breads or stuff, So that these are the kind of things that are really good to think about. So again, Optavia program was wonderful for me, really great. I know it's not for everyone. I know some people maybe have had bad experiences if they have tried Optavia. I understand that. But me personally, had a great experience on it. Now, again, my coach was my aunt, and she does it she's like one of the main people that does stuff. Again, not why I'm sponsored. I mean, I'm not sponsored, and I'm not saying that because of that. I'm just complimenting her because she did a really good job. My mom also was a smaller level coach for a couple people as well. She did a good job for that. She still does it occasionally for certain people, but it's a really good program. So they do recommend having a coach at least for the first month or two. The coach, I believe, comes with, it's like free with the food. So now you're asking, well, how expensive is it? Okay, here's what about is. If you're really gonna full do the 5-in-1 meal, all right, before you freak out with the number, so it's probably just under $400 for your food for an entire month. Okay, that's about what it is, and you're like, oh, that's a lot. Well, just go into your budget and look at how much you spend on going out to eat and your groceries. Okay, so then think about, you won't be going out to eat, but maybe once or twice, right, for fun. And you're also going to only be buying meats and vegetables. And then maybe like drinks that aren't sweet sugar that you want just to help you, right? Once you do that, you realize you're only paying about $100 more a month. At least for me, that's how it turned out. So pretty much I paid about $100 more to be on the program for food. Because that's about how much I was paying for food anyway. I was paying about $300, $350 a month on food for myself for going out to food, that kind of stuff. Again, I eat a lot. I'm a big guy, right? I'm a big dwarf. So, and I eat less than I used to because I used to eat a lot when I was really big in high school. Again, I wasn't like massively fat. I held my weight pretty good, but I was overweight, right? I wasn't early in high school. I was slim. But guys, we start gaining weight. Sometimes you have slow metabolism, around, 16, 17. You see it. A lot of guys have it happens. And then a lot of times people gain weight and then they get taller, right? They grow taller, which is a good thing. That's not really how it is. But if you're eating too many calories, even if you grow taller, sometimes you'll keep on some of that stuff. But again, I felt so much healthier once I lost some of this in my, in the last few years. So I really do highly recommend it. But again, the tricks are as follows. Thank you so much for listening this entire time, by the way. The really thing is eating every 2.5 to 3 hours. That's the biggest one that for a life-changing thing for me, even when I'm not on Optavia. Okay, because sometimes I won't use it because I just, I don't want to, I'm doing fine or whatever. I make sure I eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. I make sure I drink my water. Now, if I'm not using the Optavia bars or program, they don't have the vitamins in my food. I usually eat my own vitamins and those kind of things, and make sure I eat my salad and lean meats. But man, you start feeling so much better. In fact, at a certain point, I just stopped craving all the carbs and sugars. Like, I don't want bread. I'm like, I feel so good. When I ate bread, I felt bloated and all this stuff after, and I feel so good without it, right? So again, really, it will change your life for the better, especially if you do these mind things to focus on what you're going to choose in your life, right? With what you want to do and things, because the choosing really matters. It really comes down to, it's going to be certain habits you're going to have to break, because a lot of times we'll have habits to eat food. So good tricks to stop having those problems is drink more water, get bubble waters. Bubble waters is a great one to help break the habit of just eating all the time. Have a bubble water. You see me, I drink bubble waters all the time on the channel, right? Or carbonated water, right? For some people, I call them bubble waters. A lot of people probably don't know what I'm talking about. Carbonated water, you guys, or soda water. In Europe, a lot of times they call it a soda water. It's like, it's bubbly. And then unsweetened teas, great teas, oolong tea, green tea, black tea, all the teas. Some teas are better than others. Be careful not to drink too much of certain teas. I found out you shouldn't drink too much oolong. It has massive caffeine. One time my heart started racing and I realized I just drank too much tea. That is a thing you need to think about. And then, you really want to stay away from cheeses and milks if possible. As much as they are good for you, they're not unhealthy. Too much is unhealthy. So again, guys, it's all in moderation. The only things that you can kind of just go crazy on, if you wanted to go overboard, drinking lots of water. It's really not that big of a deal. You're gonna go to the restroom more, but it's really good for cleansing you and getting stuff out. Drinking lots of water is always fine. And then eating really a lot of more lean meat, like really lean turkey or really lean chicken. It's really not going to bother you to eat lots of that. Now again, if you're really trying to lose weight, you're trying to do like the Optavia program, you still want to not increase your calories too much. So for example, if you're eating a lot of lean meat like chicken, yeah, great, you're gonna probably be losing weight because you're not eating those carbs and sugars. That's the big one. The carbs, sugars, and fats, those things make you keep on weight so much, right? But even that, if you're eating like, let's say you're eating 2-3 full chickens a day, it's probably gonna be enough calories that your body's not really going to lose weight, right? You still need to lower your calories to be around, for me as a guy, right? So men usually, normal metabolism, we can eat about 3,000 calories in one day and we won't gain or lose weight, right? A lot of us eat way more than that. That's probably why. But that's not counting if you're eating massive sugars and carbs. That changes that a little bit. So it's very complex, the science on that particular thing. But with the Optavia, for me, I was probably eating around, so I was eating 5 bars, about 100 each, that's 500, and then my lean and green meal of chicken and stuff, that was probably like another, so probably like under 1,500 calories in that one day. So if you're someone that wants to lose weight, and that's a little different for females, guys, because usually females, I forget the number off the top of my head, I don't keep track always, but I think it's like 2,000 is like the calories for an average sized person. Again, your body weight matters, how big you are, a person, how tall, your metabolism. There's a lot of factors. Again, I highly recommend you talk to your doctor about these things too, of course, or another health specialist, or someone that's good at helping you lose weight healthy. You don't want to lose weight too fast. You don't want to starve yourself, because it can be bad on your heart, no matter your age, guys. So it can be bad on lots of things to starve yourself. So never starve yourself. Never be like, I'm going to lose weight, so I'm going to eat only like this one thing all day. That's like 200 calories. It's like, no, don't do that, guys. It's not good. It's a bad way to lose weight. You lose muscle mass. It hurts things in your body. You want to lose weight where your body realizes, oh, they're giving me food every 2.5 hours. Great. I'll start losing this fat, because why do I need to hold in the stores if I'm getting food every 2.5 hours perfectly, right? That's kind of how the body thinks. Okay, that's kind of how it works. And again, it's like, oh, and it's lean meat. Well, I don't need to, the protein helps make sure you don't lose any muscle mass. Okay, well, I don't lose muscle mass. Let's just get rid of the stores, just get rid of the fat, right? Because you're not adding more carbs and sugars with those things, right? Just your balanced level. That's why Optavia helps the program with the bars and stuff, because they have it all measured pre-out. This is all stuff you'll have to think about if you're not going to use a program, right? You're going to have to think about it. Keto talks about it a lot. Keto does it slightly different, but there is a lot of similarities there with keto. And then there's the South Beach diet some people have been doing. That's a newer one. It has similar things too, I'm noticing now. A couple of my friends have been doing it, and I'm like, oh, there's some similarities there with Optavia. Again, Optavia was originally created for people in hospitals that needed to lose weight healthfully because they're having heart problems, and also, for health, just for eating and making sure they have the right blood sugar and all those levels. And the doctor invented it and then realized the original thing, I think he said, the original one, I listened to the doctor's video once on it, is he did it for people with blood sugar problems. He was trying to balance their blood sugar. So he figured out a perfect method with vitamins and how to balance people's blood sugar. And then he realized, wow, look at that. They're losing their excess weight, and they're balancing to a good, healthy body weight. And they're keeping their muscle mass. This works really well, right? The doctor was like, this is really good. So then he's like, I need to share this with just the normal public, right? Just everyone. So then he shared it with people. People really loved it. And then him and some other people started the company Optavia, the program, right? Which I was showing you, which I have the link down there for. So that's the background of it. So it was originally designed to help people, which is really cool. And again, it's less of a diet and more of a lifestyle, right? Because at a certain point, once you get to your optimal weight with their 5-in-1 program, after a couple months, or however long it takes you, if it's more than that, that's fine. That's wherever your pace is. But then you can go on either their program with their bars still, or just maintain your weight, and they will teach you how. And that's why they recommend having a coach in the program. Again, I'm gonna leave that totally, guys, up to you. Look at their site if you want to, find a coach. They literally have a little button. Look. They literally have like a little button here up at the very top. If you can see, it's really small up here. It's right there. Find a coach. The button's right up there. So they have all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm not going to be like recommending everything about Optavia. I've really liked the program. It really helped me. But I'm going to let you guys make your decisions if you like things like that or not. But again, the big ones are, guys, is stay away from the massive amounts of sugar and carbs. Really, guys. If you like fast foods, great. Moderation. How much you eat. When you go to Taco Bell, do you get 5 burritos? I used to. That kind of thing. Even though they were small. But realistically, how many do you really need? 2, probably, right? 2 would be fine. And some nachos, right? That would be within reason, right? So those are moderation. Think about moderation, guys. That's a big one you can start with, even if you don't want to go on a really strict diet exactly. Moderation. Eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. Drink lots of water. Lower that sugar. Bring down. Don't drink all these things with corn syrup and sugar. All these sodas all the time. Have 1 or 2 a week. Don't have 3 or 4 a day, because a lot of us do, right? And then we realize, oh man, we're really just pumping the sugar. So just think about it, right? You don't need to shame yourself. Don't be like, oh, I drank a soda. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Don't shame yourself. Just go, okay, well, I enjoyed that soda. I'm not going to have another one today, and I won't have one tomorrow. I'll have one the day after, right? Do that. That's a much better mindset. Make sure you mindset it, because a lot of people fail losing weight and fail diets and give up because they're punishing themselves all the time. They're like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Well, I guess I'll just eat this anyway because I already screwed up with that. No, don't think like that. Think, oh, I enjoyed that, but I'm not going to continue and have another splurge today. I'm going to wait. I'll have some more healthy food. I'll go make myself some chicken, all right? That kind of thing. I'll make some tuna. Tuna's a great thing, right? Tuna. Mayonnaise has very high fat. If you like to make tuna sandwiches or something, get some of the lighter, get the fat-free mayonnaise. It might not taste as good, I understand, but your body, you'll get used to some things that are changes like that. There's also some really good other mayos that don't even use eggs or fats, right? And again, a lot of people have problems. We have a lot of allergies. This is a good way to figure out what your allergies are, because then you really limit what you're eating, and then you can figure out, you can try things and go, oh, there we go, figure that out. Oh, there's my allergy. That's what it is, right? Of course, sometimes the doctor can do a test too. They can do your blood test and figure out what you're allergic to. But a lot of times you have to learn yourself, which is hard if you're someone who gets sick all the time. Maybe you're not balancing your blood sugars. Maybe you have an allergy to something you don't know. A lot of my family has allergies to things. I found out I'm a little bit allergic to avocado, right? I can eat it, but if it touches my lips, I get like sores. It just burns my lips, which is, I read online, a lot of people do. I was like, I didn't know that. And also it's kind of acidic and it sometimes bothers my tongue, that kind of thing. So I'm a little bit allergic. So I kind of stay away from avocado. But like my mom's really allergic to onions, which is super hard because onions are in everything. So I understand if you're someone's allergic to things like that. My sister's allergic to tomatoes, so she can't have anything with tomato in it. And there's so much that has tomato in it, you guys. So it is hard. Allergies are hard. But this Optavia program will help you with that because you can figure it out. Now, if you're someone that's allergic to soy or something, that's going to be hard because the Optavia, I think they might have options, but a lot of the stuff has soy in it, I know. And some people don't really like soy. I've studied a little bit more. At first, I wasn't sure if it's completely healthy for you, but it's not as bad as what some people were saying like 10 years ago, where they were like, soy is so bad for you, and like, guys shouldn't eat it. I studied that more, and I think that was a little bit of you shouldn't eat too much of anything, right? But it was a little bit too blown up from what I studied. Again, I have a lot of people in my family who are scientists, health people, health coaches, like I said. I have quite a fun family. I like to learn from them. So anyway, thought I'd pass some of this on that I've learned to you guys. I think that's good. I think we've gone long enough for this video. If you guys want me to have a more broken down video of really in-depth detail things on how Optavia works and all that stuff, please leave a comment. I will do it, but I didn't want to go into too complicated. I just wanted to give you the gist and give you guys uplifting. You can do it, guys. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. It is possible. Do never feel overwhelmed to try to lose weight. Again, remember, it's your body. It's your choice on what you do with your body. If you want to try to lose some weight, or if you're happy, or that kind of stuff, just remember, don't let people shame you. Never let people shame you, okay? We're all special and all created in my belief in the image of God. So we need to all realize that, but we're all unique. God gave us all unique souls, right? We're all special. So focus on what your body, what you want to do with it, okay? But these are healthy ways. I love being healthy. I think you could do it too. So I want to make this a positive video for you. So you guys have a wonderful day in Middle Earth, and thank you real quick to my Patreons right here. Thanks so much to them. Means a lot for their support. Again, guys, there's links down there. If you join any of the levels of Patreon, you get to join Discord. So any of them, I want to make that accessible to any level of the Patreon, but they all have special bonuses too, if you're curious. Thank you for subscribing. That's gonna pop up right here. If I did earn it, I know if you found this, if you're like, what is your channel? I'm actually a Lord of the Rings channel. I just decided to do a health video because I'm losing weight. This program's really helped me. I've learned a lot from the program, even if you're not going to use the program, about how scientifically our bodies work. So we need to think about these things. So don't ever starve yourself, guys. That's a bad way to lose weight. It's really not good or healthy for you. So there's other ways to do it. And you're not hungry on this program or doing this kind of thing, eating every 2.5 to 3 hours. That's the best part, you guys. You don't feel like, all the time. Now, the first 3 or 4 days, going to be challenging. Keep that in mind. It'll always be challenging because your body will be wanting those carbs and sugars because you're addicted, right? It's not like an addiction like a substance addiction, but it's still an addiction. So remember that. It's still going to be a little bit challenging, but just have a support person, have someone to talk to help you, and do make sure you eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. Drink lots of water, drink teas that are unsweetened, drink bubble waters. They will really help you. I'm telling you, it really helps. And anyway, yes, thank you. Subscribe button's there. Up there, next episode for my blog playlist. And Hello Tell Me Make content's right there, where we do Lord of the Rings stuff and voiceovers. And again, you guys, if you watch this whole video, you're fantastic. Maybe if I earned a subscribe, great. And again, if you are curious to be more involved in our little Discord and stuff, Patreon, all the links are down there for everything, and my social medias that are all free. Have a great day in Middle Earth, my friends. We'll see you all in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings.